It is my current goal to beat the game of Pokemon Yellow every single week in a solo challenge using all 151 Pokedex entry for this game, and this week we are taking a step backwards again to return to the starter line of the Pokemon series here. The reason for that is that on this exact day, or at least the day that this will end up coming out, on this exact day last year, I began this channel, or rather I published my first, I think you get the idea. And when we did that, we started with number 1, Bulbasaur. So at this point, we've now gone an entire year, and it's time to return to that exact line again and go with Ivysaur this time. Now, starting off with Ivysaur, the main thing here is just that our stats are a little boosted. It's going to be kind of the same deal as we had previously. We're going to have to kind of get through this first little fight here. I did the leech seed. I probably really didn't need it, but I just figured, if I can chip away and also make sure I don't pass out, that'll be great. But then when you look at the move set here on the right-hand side, or the move pool rather, our move set's on the left, our move pool is exactly the same. We're going to have the same exact curse and blessing, I guess you could say, that we had with Bulbasaur. The only main difference here at this point is we now have more information. When you take a look at Ivysaur, one of the big differences already, like I mentioned, the stats. Bulbasaur started at 318 as the base stats. Ivysaur has a base stats of 405, so we're about 100 higher, so we're already starting with some advantages for how hard this Pokemon is going to hit. And then when you just take into effect the fact that it's all going to be the exact same moves that are at our disposal and that are going to be beneficial for us to have and keep, is the same. Now, if you have not seen the Bulbasaur video, I will explain what we're going to use and how we're going to use it, and that should, I guess, just take us through the whole thing. There is a part of me that sort of feels like I could potentially have some usage for Mega Drain. The biggest problem is the fact that the power for that move is just so low, and there's one trainer in particular that I just feel like it's really never going to get past that trainer effectively, so it's not going to be a move that we're really going to see today. The big thing here is just Razor Leaf is going to be the move that we have that does not have any kind of setup. Like Solar Beam would be kind of sick during a certain portion of the game, but the fact that it always takes 2 attacks seems a little too risky, in my opinion, for some of this. So really, Razor Leaf is going to be the grass type move that we will have, that will have Stab, the same type attack bonus. And then we're going to be going for our tried and true of Body Slam. It's just one of those things where I am trying my hardest to avoid using Mimic. I feel like Mimic is the kind of move that I only want to use for maybe some speed runs, but even then, I kind of want to attempt to do speed runs without the use of Mimic, which I think probably changes some of the overall times and everything like that. But I feel like Mimic should only really be used in moments of crisis, in Pokemon that can only beat the game if you use that move. I believe fully in my heart of hearts that Ivysaur has this down pat without the need to use that move, so we're not going to go for that. And then the last 2 moves, now that we've talked about the 2 moves that will do damage, the last 2 moves that we have will be utility moves. We're going to 100% keep Sleep Powder. Putting people to sleep in, especially Generation 1, I feel like is kind of crucial for a lot of the Pokemon that have setup moves. You can set up against some of your opponents, but a lot of the times you're taking a fair amount of damage in that time. And so having the option to put someone to sleep in those moments gives you such a breather, and it is just so much more effective and efficient. And I think there's at least 2 fights near the end of this game that kind of become not impossible, but unbelievably difficult without Sleep Powder. So it just sort of feels like it's a necessity. And then, of course, because of the fact that it is a grass-type Pokemon, or at least most of them have access to this, but you have access, at least with Ivysaur, the move Swords Dance. It's something that we don't get until Silph Co, but once we have it, ooh, baby, we are going to be doing so much better. Effectively, in this game, the reason why you would want to go for that versus Growth only moves up your stats by 1 stage. And you want to go for Swords Dance because it does +2 every time, which means that you can be fully set up within 3 moves. Now, why is that going to be the factor for this game? Okay, if you've never been here before, I'm going to let you know about a great little thing that happens in Generation 1, which is the badge boost glitch. So there's going to be 4 badges that give me a boost to the 4 stats of attack, defense, speed, and special. Because in Generation 1, special is still just one thing. It's not special attack and special defense. It's just one stat. So what you have happen here is every time you use a move that changes one single stat, it ends up changing all of them, or at least all of the ones that you have currently a badge that boosts. So by the time we get to the end of the game, when we have all 8 badges and therefore we have all 4 stats being boosted, whenever I use Swords Dance, it is not only going to boost my attack, but is going to re-roll and re-add on to the current number that you see the badge boost on top of what you are now seeing. So it's basically just going to be a thing of my attack will go up, but so will my defense, my speed, and my special. And so that will give me boosts all around, and it will protect me. It'll make me faster. It'll make me stronger. And that's kind of the most efficient way to get through some of these Pokemon, especially the ones that you are very ineffective against. I mean, really, when you look at that, it's going to be half of the champions team. It's going to be Lance. It's going to be, my God, Agatha. Agatha could be the thing that kills the run if you don't use a move like that. Okay, now that I've yammered on enough about the moves and everything like that, I've sort of set you up for what this one's going to look like. We are now going to Brock's gym. And so far we're here definitely faster and we're looking good. The main thing is I just wanted to make sure that we were close enough to level 13 that somewhere before Brock we end up with a move of Vine Whip, because as you can see, Rock/Ground type, it now has a power of 210, and Brock is now done. Easy peasy, fantastic, thank you so much, Ivysaur. Let us move on to the next place. And that next place, of course, is Cerulean City. After kind of honestly taking maybe a little bit too long in Mount Moon, we have now made it here to this place, and we are going to go up against the rival. I mean, obviously, Ivysaur would be ready for Misty already, but my thought process, honestly, is just the fact that she doesn't give you a boost to your moves with her badge, so might as well just kind of hit the rival, go up through the bridge, and that way, when you're on your way out of town, you can just sort of stop, heal, fight her once, maybe heal one more time, and you're just you're already there. I think also just so many Pokemon can't immediately take her on that I just sort of feel like, just go with the pathing that you're used to. Since we're not speedrunning here, I don't necessarily think it matters that I'm doing this one in this order, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like I should probably at least explain it to some extent just before anyone hits up the comments and goes, how come you didn't just immediately fight Misty? I mean, I don't have to tell you, man. I just sort of thought that Nugget Bridge felt right. Felt fine. And now we're at Misty, though. Now's the time. And as you can see, 1 and... oh, nope, not 2. Not 3, but 4. Okay, there we go. Now she's done. You know, it's one of those things where Vine Whip still is 52 base power, and then obviously you get a little bit of a boost, but they're pretty beefy. That Starmie's beefy. What can I say? And speaking of beef, my rival is here, and he's got beef with me. Luckily, though, Ivysaur is very well equipped for this team, and just like that, the rival is no more. He also says something there that we kind of speed past every single time, which is the fact that he's like, I've already caught 40 species of Pokemon. And that's kind of a wild one. I've never really put much thought into that, but someday I want to go back and test that. But we're going to test now is Lieutenant Surge and what he can do with Raichu, and the answer is nothing. One of these days, I know he's going to get me. One of these days. But that day is not today. And therefore, we are already moving on to the next thing. So this is a little out of order from how we usually do it. I do already go to Celadon City, and I get some of the stuff, like some of the roadways opened up by opening up the path to Saffron and everything like that. But I don't think I'm quite ready for Erica, so I do come back to the Pokemon Tower, and I'm taking on my rival here. This one is a little kind of all over the place. I'm making some moves that I just kind of can't believe I'm really going for. I don't know why I thought I was going to get some heals off here. I am now paralyzed and going into the final fight against his last Pokemon. Luckily, he throws with that tail whip, and we are all good to go. So I do go heal, and then I finish up the Pokemon Tower, and then I make my way back to Celadon so that after this badge, I can just make my way immediately to Fuchsia. But, you know, it's just one of those things where the pathing is maybe a little wonky on this one. I'm feeling it a little bit already, but we are finally ready for Erica. We make some quick work of her gym, and then Tangela goes down, Weeping Bell goes down. At this point, we are only using just raw power. There's no setup moves here. Body Slam carries us through at level 41, technically 40, I believe, and then later on 41 as I level up. And then before we do the actual gym of Fuchsia, I've made my way down there, but first I'm going to do the Silph Co stuff, because here I can pick up Swords Dance like we talked about earlier in the video. And this is going to make the rest of this run considerably faster. I feel as though at 50 minutes in, I feel like I could probably get here a little faster, I'll be honest. Maybe a little less training here and there, a few more optional trainers taken out probably. But we make it to our rival here. This is Rival Fivel, as many people love to call him. And we are leveling up mid-battle, which is probably not the best call. I probably could have done something different here. And I'm sort of feeling it a little bit. Although, you know, it's okay, because at this point I set up once against the Magneton. I definitely should have set up more than once, though. Because as you can see, Fire Spin, while it is inaccurate, if it does hit, that's a done deal for Ivysaur. So we have our very first reset, but that's okay. I'm going to set up twice against the Sand Slash, and my main thing is I'm realizing that my speed and my special aren't going to get a boost anyway. So it doesn't really matter if my defense gets reset once I level up in the middle of the fight. My attack will stay up, and that's kind of all that we really need to worry about at this point, is just making sure that we one-shot everything. And so this time, Flareon goes down to a single Body Slam. Now we are definitely sitting in a much better spot. We can just sort of immediately move on to the Team Rocket Trio. It is the second time on this run that we are fighting them, because we have skipped all of the game corner stuff. We used a Pokédoll at the Pokemon Tower, just saving us a little bit of time, saving us a little bit of heartache, and, you know, everything in between, I guess. Here, though, we learned the final move that's really going to set us apart, which is Sleep Powder. So I guess thank you, Jesse and James. You've done something good for me, I suppose. Then Bingo Bango, the last door is open, and here is Giovanni. This is our first time in the game, at least today, going up against Giovanni, his tried and true yellow team. We've got the precursor to Nidoking is already down. Persian is always there. Persian is down. Rhyhorn is an easy one. Nidoqueen. Okay, this is a problem. I'm going to come back to this at the 8th gym. If you have a comment about Razor Leaf, don't worry, it's going to get addressed. But either way, his team is done and dusted. And then I just dig my way out, and now we're going to go through Fuchsia City. This is one of those moments, though, where at this point I have leveled up pretty well, and his gym is just so weird. I've made comments about this in previous videos, but it's definitely a kind of keep your enemies closer type thing. There are some poison types in here, but most of the people here are super effective against Koga's team, and therefore are super effective against Ivysaur, who is part poison. So being this much over leveled against these people means that we can kind of the same thing as what we have with Erica's gym, just pretty quickly body slam and body tap effectively all of these people all the way through. Now, it's a little interesting to me that I don't go for the sleep powder. I definitely could have gotten that off, especially because he's going to try to go for toxic to get the poison move off on the grass type, but I'm also part poison, so it's not going to hurt me. But once I've set up 3 times, giving me a +6, I just sweep his Venonats, and the Venomoth goes down quite easily as well, and therefore we have our 5th badge. As you can see, the Swords Dance, as I mentioned earlier, is making all of these fights go by considerably faster. Yes, you have to spend a couple of turns to get them off, but then at that point, you're not dealing with, or at least for the most part, most of these people that you're going to fight for the rest of the game, most of them aren't going to survive most hits, right? So a lot of these Pokemon, and specifically for Sabrina, because her defense is just so bad, they are glass cannons. That's 3 times using Body Slam, and that is 3 deaths. And therefore, we can dig our way out to Blaine's Gym. Now, I never show Cinnabar Island because it's pretty harsh on the eyes at this speed. So I always just immediately cut to the fight. And this one we don't have good luck with. We unfortunately do get hit with the flamethrower first and foremost, which sets us up pretty poorly. So one of the big things here is I could have just smartly, I believe, used Sleep Powder. And then that way, if Arcanine does survive the Body Slam, we can take it out. There's a part of me that I believe was really hoping that if I maybe get the paralyzed there, maybe he is paralyzed and doesn't get an attack off. I'm also hoping that I can one-shot. It does not happen, but this time going into the fight, I do instantly have some success with not taking any damage, and then he uses the preemptive super potion, which I'm not really sure how that works, but on this one, he definitely throws the fight. I leave unscathed. Then at Giovanni's gym, we fight not all the trainers, but quite a few, just to make sure that we've made sure to be leveled up before this fight. I do not want to level up mid-fight because that resets all of my stats outside of my attack. Unfortunately, I do take an accuracy debuff here, so that's going to be a potential problem in the future. Luckily, it does not matter for that first Razor Leaf. I try to put the Persian asleep. It gets a couple situations going on there with an evasion and also a guard spec. He loves guard spec. He is sponsored by them in this game or something. There's no reason that he really should be using that much. But now here's where you can see a little bit of a weird problem for my Ivysaur, which is just sort of mashing through on Razor Leaf. Body Slam would actually have been better for 3 out of the 5 Pokemon here. But, you know, again, don't worry, we will address it. I'm going to go further into detail in just a moment. Now that we have completed that section and that I've healed up, it is now time to move on to the rival battle. This is the last time that he will be a rival before he becomes a champion. And, you know, you look at this team and you kind of go, okay, so 2 of these Pokemon are unevolved. So this is the last little precursor set of here's what you're looking at. So be prepared for them in the end of the game. And, you know, you have your Sandslash, you have Execute, Cloyster goes down. I have set up a little bit, but one of the biggest problems here is there is the level up. So now my speed is down. I now am outsped by the Kadabra. All right, so that's bad. And what's worse is, guess who did not save after the Giovanni fight? You would think that by now I would have learned that lesson. Unfortunately, I did not. A little bit of it is me going, oh, I got speed. It's fine. I'll be good. We'll be fine. We were not fine. So now we have to set up again against Giovanni, and oh no. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's bad. You don't want to see that. I did it on the first try last time. I really should be able to do this again on my second first try, but it's not. It's now my third first try. No, technically this is just my second. This is my first second try. Whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. I hope. God, I hope. A more confusing numbering system than the doctors in Doctor Who. Now, this is where I'm going to talk about the moveset here, which is that I am mashing through on Razor Leaf. I'm just pressing a button and holding it, and it's going through. I do recognize that Body Slam would be much more efficient because they are not weak to the leaf. They're not weak to the Razor Leaf move here because they are also part poison, so they're resisting-ish. It just becomes kind of like a neutral type thing. But like at the end of the day, I'm just going, listen, it's doing damage. But I've boosted my attack so much that the Body Slam should be what I went for. It's not. I get it. I hear your cries. I heard it myself. Even when I was looking at this footage, I was going, all right, sometimes I need to just let go of the auto trigger for just a brief moment and just choose a move that makes more sense. You know, sometimes just sort of looking for the speed, especially when you're not officially speedrunning, doesn't really make sense, Colin. You know, get your head in the game. Get your head in the Pokemon Yellow game. But this time, even though I am still leveling up in the exact same spot, I have my eyes on it. Luckily, he does not go for Psychic. He uses Psybeam, does more damage than I'm hoping, but this time the Body Slam move does take care of Flareon as well. There's no Fire Spin sort of situation to take us out, and therefore we get to move on to the Indigo Plateau. Victory Road is nothing. Water off of a duck's back, or Toxic off of a Ivysaur's petals. I don't know. We drop off all of our other Pokemon, our HM employees. Thank you so much. We salute you. Then I use most of my rare candies. I'm going to leave 3 so that I don't level up during the middle of the last 3 fights. It really doesn't matter if I level up in the middle of the Bruno fight. At some point, that will maybe matter for some Pokemon, but not today. We're okay. Now, against Lorelei, this could be tough because of the fact that the ice moves will definitely wilt my little petals, right? But if you do the setup here at the very beginning against that Dugong, you set yourself up pretty nicely, and so far everything is a one-shot. Now, against the Lapras, probably actually could have gone for Body Slam there. It did live the Razor Leaf, surprisingly, but she also gets a preemptive Super Potion, which I don't really get that glitch within this game, but it kind of just means she throws because she doesn't go for Blizzard, which I would have had effectively debuffed it. Debuffed? That's not a word. I debuffed it, perhaps, a little bit in terms of by boosting myself up so much with the glitch, but it doesn't really matter. Then Bruno, you know, the overglorified hiker here. I don't know why I chose to use Sleep Powder. I don't know. I'm looking back at this footage right now and going, what was that? That may have just been a misclick on my way up to Razor Leaf. I don't know. But yeah, Bruno's already done. So on to Agatha. Now, Agatha is probably the person I've been the most scared about this entire time. There is something to be concerned about with Lance, but specifically Agatha's team is pretty devastating. There's a lot of people here who have something like Wing Attack or Hypnosis rather, and then Dream Eater. And then, of course, you have Psychic on the final Gengar. I mean, it's just a bad combination. You don't want to see that. And even with the boosts that I am taking here to my strength, it just doesn't look good. You know, I'm not very good against the special attack here, and my Razor Leaf is cut in half effectively. So even with a boosted attack on that, it's just not enough. Now, obviously, if I could hit them with Body Slam, I'd be sitting pretty, but they're ghost Pokemon, so the normal type move doesn't hit. It does hit Arbok, which I guess is the lucky thing. I don't know. Now, here's where it gets a little scary. They get the Psychic off, but because I'm boosted, luckily, it's not a huge amount of damage. I get the Gengar to sleep, but as you can see, I am just sort of chipping away with these Razor Leafs. Luckily, she's already wasted some of her heals, and so we do get through on that one, which means that I can now use my second to last rare candy, heal up, and now we are at Lance. Lance has a tough one here, specifically the Aerodactyl and the Dragonite. Even though one of the Dragonairs has Ice Beam, I'm not too nervous. Gyarados doesn't have anything super effective against me. It just hits like a truck, so you have to be really cautious here. And also, Dragon Rage does sort of chip away. This is another situation where I'm going, oh, Water-type Pokemon, because I'm trying to move fast, but then also instantly you see me go, Water-type, yeah, hey, dummy, also Flying-type, go Body Slam. So I use Body Slam and we get through. That is a crazy situation there. Barely living through the Aerodactyl with 8 HP, but the Body Slam one-shots the Dragonite. Whew, I mean, Blizzard or Fire Blast, obviously devastating. At that point, any of the moves would have killed me if they hit. So, we were very lucky. I was going to say, luckily, we were lucky. That's not how you talk, but I'll call myself out. I like to tell you my flubs. It's kind of like a live blooper. It's just kind of nice, I guess, to see that even I am imperfect, which I'm sure a lot of people know when I do things like using Razor Leaf on the Nidos. This time, though, we get the setup early on. The Magneton does live one shot, but At this point, we are already on Cloyster. Cloyster goes down. Flareon is also one shot. And at level 68, 4 resets and 1 hour, 19 minutes, 37 seconds, Ivysaur is through. This feels so good, considering how long it took me with Bulbasaur, and I was still figuring out the game. I mean, sorry, that sounds weird. Obviously, I knew the game. I've played the game a lot growing up and everything like that. But it's more of you're figuring out the game in this sort of mechanic. And so 1 year versus today feels so much better. And I am a firm believer that we can easily cut, I don't know, let's say 10 minutes off of this one. I think that there's just some pathing that I haven't quite figured out for some of the stronger Pokemon, especially like the middle tier Pokemon. There's a few places where I kind of go, well, is this a necessary fight or will it be necessary later? So there's still a little bit of a learning curve, but I do think that eventually when we start trying to actually speedrun, I think we can get Ivysaur down a little bit further, and we'll just sort of have to see what we can do. Thank you so much for 1 full year. I know I mentioned that yesterday on the last video, on the Golem video for having a full year. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it all. And of course, I am still on the hunt to hit 500 subscribers on this channel. So if you haven't already subscribed and you like the content, or maybe you just like me, the creator, who knows, consider sticking around, because every little interaction that you have helps me out a lot. I'm trying to make content the full-time gig. Pokemon being a large part of that. I'd like that to be, I'd say, minimum a third of the piece of the puzzle. So every little interaction helps me get one step closer. I do appreciate you so much for tuning in and for seeing the progress of the Bulbasaur line. And guess what? Next week and the week after that, we're going to be taking a look at Wartortle and then Charmeleon. So a little bit of a throwback and, you know, kind of helping complete this journey. All right, that'll do it for this one, though. As always, be kind to yourself, be excellent to one another, and I will see you all next week for another solo challenge in Pokemon Yellow.